In April 2026, the Senate Banking Committee convened for a confirmation hearing that quickly devolved into explosive political theater. The man in the hot seat was Kevin Warsh, nominated to lead the Federal Reserve. On one side, lawmakers openly accused him of being a direct proxy for the Oval Office. Senator Elizabeth Warren challenged him to prove he wouldn't operate as the president's human sock puppet. That hostility from the left was fueled by intense pressure from the right. President Donald Trump had explicitly demanded lower interest rates and made it clear he expected absolute loyalty from his central bank nominee. Making matters even more chaotic, the sitting Fed chair, Jerome Powell, couldn't make a clean exit. A sudden and highly controversial Department of Justice investigation blocked his departure, creating a vacuum at the top of the global economy. Whoever sits in that chair controls the hidden levers of the American economy. The winner of this confirmation fight will directly dictate the cost of your groceries, the cost of your mortgage, and the value of your savings. To understand the stakes, we need to look at central bank independence. Historically, the Federal Reserve is intentionally insulated from day-to-day partisan politics and election cycles, so it can make unpopular decisions when necessary. If a sitting president gains the power to dictate that policy, they can artificially boost the economy by forcing interest rates down, right before an election. That creates a short-term boom, but it almost always leads to a devastating long-term inflationary crisis. The battle over Kevin Warsh is a live stress test of that exact boundary. It asks whether the Fed will remain a neutral protector of the dollar or become a weaponized political asset. Warsh is no stranger to these pressure cookers. As the youngest Fed governor in history, he was a key lieutenant to Chairman Ben Bernanke during the 2008 financial crisis. Back then, he operated as the central bank's primary liaison to Wall Street. He supported massive institutional bailouts for failing banks, while simultaneously pushing to keep interest rates high for everyday Americans. But going into his 2026 hearings, Warsh executed a massive pivot. He heavily criticized the Fed's bloated balance sheet and the very quantitative easing strategies he helped deploy, demanding a total regime change at the institution. His new philosophy argues that buying financial assets disproportionately benefits the wealthy. Instead, he believes adjusting interest rates is a much fairer tool, because in his words, those rates get in the cracks and affect the entire economy. To pull off that balancing act, the Fed relies on its dual mandate, the constant tightrope walk of maximizing employment while keeping prices stable. Look at this diagram of the transmission mechanism. When the Fed turns its master interest rate dial, that action forces every commercial bank to adjust the rates they charge you for mortgages, credit cards, and auto loans. If Warsh caves to political pressure and slashes rates, borrowing becomes incredibly cheap. Capital floods the system. But that flood hypercharges inflation and rapidly devalues your paycheck at the grocery store and the gas pump. On the flip side, if he decides to keep rates high to crush that inflation, those pathways constrict. The flow of capital freezes, choking overall economic growth and punishing families trying to buy a house or find a job. These are immediate kitchen table realities. Warsh's personal philosophy on turning that dial will decide exactly how far your paycheck stretches by the end of the month. Senate drama is only the first obstacle. The incoming chair is about to collide with the strict physical constraints of the 2026 economy. Warsh brings a specific, optimistic theory to the table. He believes an imminent productivity boom driven by artificial intelligence will naturally lower prices across the board, which he argues will justify immediate rate cuts. But digital optimism has to contend with physical shortages. Escalating climate-induced home insurance premiums, constrained energy grids, and sticky supply-side inflation are all driving costs up in ways that algorithms cannot easily fix. This leaves Warsh in a profound bind. He has to successfully reform the Fed's entire inflation framework to navigate these complex physical shortages, while simultaneously proving to the financial markets that he is acting independently of the Oval Office. Central bank independence is a practical necessity. It is the final buffer standing between your bank account and an overheated economy, making this confirmation fight a direct battle over the future of your purchasing power.